Zoran Mamdani, he's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist. Some people are calling him a communist. Do you think communism would work well here inside of the largest city of America?
We're going to go full communist? This is not going to work out well.
There's enough of these old white men. It's time for a change.
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
You think New York City will fall if this guy is elected mayor?
Oh, there's no question. It's already barely surviving.
Today, I'm here in New York City, and today we're going to be asking the New Yorkers here who they're going to be voting for their next mayor. Right now, just recently, a man by the name of Zoran Mamdani just won the primaries for the Democrats here inside of New York City. He's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist who's running on ideas such as freezing the rent, $30 minimum wage, defunding the police, government-ran grocery stores, and free buses for everyone here inside of New York City. Donald Trump has came out and called him a communist, and right now on prediction markets like Polymarket, he has a 71% chance of winning this election next to his competitors like the current mayor, Eric Adams, Curtis Silva, and Andrew Cuomo. And if you want to track this election with Polymarket, you can use polymarket.com or click the link in the description down below. And now let's go talk to the New Yorkers here about who they're going to be voting for. Let's hit the streets. Here we go. Who would you like to see win the mayor race here in New York?
Zoran Mamdani.
And why so?
Because he represents working people and is offering policies that counter the establishment and that resist the influence of billionaires over this city. And yeah, he's the working people's candidate.
What's your favorite policy of Zoran?
Taxing billionaires into non-existence.
What do you think about this guy potentially becoming the next mayor of New York
That's crazy.
City?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't like that guy, man.
And what do you think will happen if this guy wins?
I have no fucking idea, but I was here when Dinkins was the mayor, so I know bad times. I was complaining about Adams, but I would take him 4 more years than that guy.
Who would you like to see become the next mayor here in New York City?
Zoran Mamdani, of course.
Why so?
I really like what he says about the rent freezes are a big one for me. City-owned grocery stores are also a huge factor for me. I don't use the buses that often, but that's pretty cool for the bus takers of New York.
How do you feel that this guy could potentially be the next mayor of New York City?
Dude, we're doomed if he's mayor. I mean,
I do find it interesting that they're showing videos of eating of his hands.
We're going to go full communist. This is not going to work out well. And
that's the current marketing. Everyone, Zoran Mamdani is a communist, is the marketing that the other side is pushing, that he's a communist. I don't know if he's a communist. I don't actually agree with him being a communist, but that's the word on the street, apparently. It's pretty funny how things just take flame. And then he is a communist now. Now he's a communist.
Resisted leaving New York for many reasons over the years, but I think this is going to be the final nail in the coffin, and I won't be able to survive in the city with him. No way.
If this guy wins, you're leaving.
I'm going to have to. I mean, my business will be destroyed.
What worries you most about him being elected?
I'm worried about there being complete, total chaos, and our mayor actually promoting chaos. Promoting and allowing all the protesters, all the peaceful protesters to do their thing, and it's going to be really scary.
And this guy right now who's running for mayor, he is one of the fellow protesters himself.
Right. It's scary. I mean, seeing him get in the faces of the police that are supposed to protect him. I saw that one video where he's in the face of, I think it was state troopers, which, they're here to protect the governor and mayor sometimes, and I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, he wants to get rid of the police and have social workers protect us. How's that going to work?
And who are you going to be voting for?
Sliwa, definitely. He's the only choice, in my opinion.
Would you guys want to vote for a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist here in New York City?
No.
What do you guys think about the ideas of defunding the police and a $30 minimum wage?
I think that's nuts. That would be so hard to maintain.
Yeah,
that would be ridiculous to maintain. I don't like the whole defund the police things. I think there's, if anything, fund them more, get training better when you defund them.
What's this guy in New York? Is this like the only left-leaning woman in all of New York City? Oh.
What does that do?
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
Yeah,
Where's the money coming from? I think that's insane.
Who do you want to be the next mayor of New York?
I can't. Zohar.
Zoran?
Yeah.
Mamdani, why so?
already voted for him. So in the primary.
Right?
Yeah.
And what makes you want him to be the next mayor?
I think we need to switch up. I want someone young, ready to go, really changing and focusing on the younger generation and just really making the city, giving it something new. Como, we need something fresh, and we got to get him out.
Right here we have some Democrat for Mayor Zoran signs outside here in the East Village. Would you like to have a Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City?
I mean,
Democratic as long as they're like for the people, I guess. Yeah, like as long as they're fighting for people's rights.
Do you like the idea of socialism?
Depends on the person.
For instance, a lot of people have been seeing a lot of
take my dog out. Sorry, guys.
countries that are kind of like socialist governments or communist governments. Trump's been calling him a communist.
Right.
And countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, those countries are very communist countries. But a lot of them came here these past 4 years to leave that. So do you think it'd be a good idea to bring it here, communism, and see how it goes?
As long as we're like allowing people to get to safety here, like absolutely, yeah, if that's what that means.
Okay, so just let communism happen here in New York City?
If it's, I don't know, it just depends on the person and how they're using their power.
And who do you support for mayor here in New York City?
What a nothing answer that is. I still don't think with this communism. I think the communism thing's a bit too far. But
not that guy Zoltani, whatever his name is. I used to like the governor Cuomo. I don't know about him right now to be a mayor. You know, one of the New York millionaires came out and he said that he would sponsor any like free runner, someone who's like from outside, you know, and maybe that would be a good option.
Really, so now millionaires are coming together saying we got to find somebody we can fund to make sure that this Zoran Mamdani guy doesn't win.
If he wins, a lot of business will go.
Jan, you've been on the channel a few times now, and now that the mayor might be potentially Zoran Mamdani, will you vote for him?
I can't imagine anyone I would vote for after him. I think I would vote for, you know, that truck over there, over him. No, put mildly, I will not be voting for him. My hope is that many other people will not be. The only thing I can really say is I am concerned. From what I've heard, only about 5% of New Yorkers voted for him. So in the primaries tend to be low turnout elections, so fringe candidates do better because they have a lot of energy, and then the regular voting mass just doesn't. The hope is that a lot of different people coalesce behind Eric Adams, because this is unacceptable. It's one thing to have Los Angeles or Chicago have some fringe, you know, DEI mayor, but it is another to have an Islamist communist who's 32 and whose mom was a Bollywood millionaire director who has never worked a day in his life and is a failed rapper try to run New York City. New York City is not a city that we can sacrifice to Islamism or to communism. There's too much here, too much business, too much real estate. I don't know if it works the same way. I don't think people can just look past New York the same way and let it go.
And why do you think it'd be a bad thing to have an Islamist?
I've never heard a New Yorker speak like this before. So this is very interesting.
Here in New York City.
And it's interesting because, like, you kind of hear this type of rhetoric here in Australia, and you hear this type of stuff in Europe. So hearing this kind of stuff in New York, kind of, yeah, it's interesting.
You want to look at an example of a Western city that's had a effectively Pakistani Muslim mayor, you look at London, right? And London has become unlivable, high crime, gangs, extreme prices, only the very rich and very poor can afford to live there. That's effectively what would happen here.
Another one of Mamdani's policies is to defund the police and bring in a new group of police that would just be outreach and be helping people here on the streets. What do you think would happen to New York City if Mamdani does go through with another one of his policies to defund the police?
Portland, Oregon is what will happen, except with tremendously more crime. It's a much larger city. Pharmacies will close. Many stores will close. The same liberal white women that voted for him will be targets of both robberies and assaults on a constant basis. And then, only then will people realize that some of these changes are very hard to undo. Very hard.
And remember this guy because we'll be coming back to him later in this video. You as a Jew, how do you feel about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
It's not about the Muslim mayor, it's about what his policies are.
Yeah, what do you think about his policies and him not?
Very bad.
And what do you think about him not declining or saying no to the globalizing the Antifa?
That's very bad. Even the worst thing that can even be said.
And who are you voting for?
I'm voting for Cuomo.
And before we go talk to more people here in the streets of New York
Jewish guy did not want to chat. He was like, get me out of here.
City, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of this video, Opus Clip. What started as just an AI clipper is now the most powerful AI growth tool for creators. I'm talking about full automation for you and for your content. All you have to do is use Opus Clip, and now you can pull your latest YouTube videos, auto-edit them into viral shorts, and even schedule them to post while you're asleep or while you're out here in the field. They make it so easy. It's like having a full-time editor or having a full-time content manager for a fraction of the cost. They just came out with AI Editor 3.0, which comes with smarter auto framing, better virality scoring, and brand new caption styles dropping this month. And me personally, my favorite thing about Opus is how simple they make it to auto frame your content for all platforms. I'm talking Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. They make it so easy, and they save me hours of time simply by just auto framing using Opus Clip. And right now they're doing a giveaway for all of you guys watching this video. And to celebrate their 2-year anniversary, Opus Clip is giving away a free MacBook, $5,000 in cash, and free credits to anyone who enters. All you have to do is use a clip from Opus Clip, tag them in your video, and use the hashtag Opus Clip and grow, and you're in. It is that simple. Go to opus.pro/clip-the-future for more information. And now let's get back to the streets and start talking to the people about who they think should win mayor here in New York City. Here we go. You as a Jew, how do you feel about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
Whatever, if it's a good mayor, it's a good mayor.
Should people not look at the religion or race for the...
Never. You go to a doctor, do you look if it's a Jewish doctor or a Christian or Muslim? Do you look?
No, I do not.
That's it. You just answer.
So why do you think in the news and stuff they're making it out to be a big thing that he's a Muslim? Or
Everyone says that, but the reality is, you gotta take a look at it. Like, if my doctor's Christian versus an atheist, I'm feeling a lot better about it. I'll be honest with you.
Because he's a Muslim, because he was against, he never said nothing against Hamas, that's why. Nothing to do if he's a Muslim or Jew or he's a Christian.
So do you think Jews should be worried about him winning?
Yes, I think so.
Will you be voting for Adams if he runs again?
Whoever is the best one, I don't care who is the guy. As long as it's good for my safety and the safety of my city, that's it. It's good for business, good for everything. I'm not looking for chaos.
Do you think government around grocery stores is a good idea?
No.
What about defunding the police?
Horrible idea.
What do you think will happen in New York City if they do defund the police?
I think it will go... I mean, it's already a dangerous city. I think it will get tremendously worse. I think it's horrible for
these like Upper East Siders.
Our kids. I think it's horrible for our elderly. I think it's just a horrible idea. I don't know why we would ever defund the police.
And would you vote for Zoran Mamdani?
Oh, definitely not. Oh, New York would be in bad shape if Mamdani got elected, for sure. I'm an immigrant, so I came here from nothing, and I was able to build a future, to give a better future for my kids. I come from a country that is pretty much social. You know, Italy is a pretty social country. It doesn't work here, you know. This is a capitalist country, and Mamdani is trying to make, not even socialism, is trying to make a communism country. I mean, like, just go back where you were, you know.
What do you think about government around grocery stores? Would that be a good idea?
Not at all. Not at all. That is totally wrong. I mean, it would not make any sense in a country like United States. I mean, I think it's wrong anywhere in the world, but United States is like, this country is capitalism because you can come here and become somebody. You can live a simple life and just live long, get your job and work for a good company, or you can rise the ladder and become somebody, you know what I mean? And hopefully give more opportunity for your kids. I guess that's what his parents did for him, right? So they moved from a different country to come to United States. They built a good wealth so he could be educated, and he's trying to basically eliminate what the parents had the opportunity to do in this country, which doesn't seem fair to me.
Who will you be voting for the election for the mayor here in New York City?
Zoran Mamdani.
And why do you want to vote for Zoran Mamdani?
It's always interesting when you see a mention like you have a cross-sanction a vote for a Muslim. It's fascinating.
I think that his beliefs and what he wants to do for the city is I resonate with most of them, and if not all of them.
What's your favorite one?
Just his like, he talked about like making public transit and like everything like free, like not free, but like maybe like more accessible and faster buses, faster public transit, and yeah.
And where do you think he'll get that extra money from?
He's obviously very shy person. But she's trying.
Maybe by, I think I saw something where he said he was like.
It's interesting though, that these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, eh? Like no one knows what the hell they're talking about. I mean, it's not. Some people do, but she has no idea what the hell she's talking about. She's just voting because her friend probably told her to.
Like taxing the like upper class, maybe something like that.
Or maybe she's playing stupid because that was the right answer, but maybe she's just playing silly. I don't know. Maybe she's just very shy.
I'm not really educated in most of these things, but yeah.
And right now he says he wants to tax every person that makes more than $1 million here an extra 2%. Are you in support of that?
I think so, yeah.
And he also said he doesn't think billionaires should exist. Do you think billionaires should exist?
I mean, I don't know.
Should Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, should they exist? Should they be able to have billions of dollars?
I think in our world, the wrong type of people have like the power and like too much power and money and like, so take that as you will.
Do you think it's wrong for someone to start a business and then become a billionaire?
No.
Who will you guys vote for mayor here in New York?
Oh, I voted for Mamdani.
And what makes you want to vote for Mamdani?
Well, if he wasn't running, I would have voted for Cuomo. But when Mamdani entered the race, it's like, there's enough of these old white men. It's time for a change. That's why.
What makes you excited about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
Why not? They had it in London. So,
yeah, look how London's going.
Would you like New York City to become the next London?
I did London. Like, what does that even mean?
No, I'd like it to stay in New York City. But one thing about Mamdani, not since JFK, and I can say this, have I ever heard a politician speak that felt so honest as he did.
True.
And one of his goals is to make this city pretty much Trump-proof by making enough money through other streams of revenue, like extra taxes on the rich, to not need money from the federal government.
Yeah, I'm up with that. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Would you like to see New York City get Trump-proofed?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. There's no ICE agents, are there?
Something that's interesting about Mamdani is he's 33 years old. Yeah. He was born in Uganda, and now he's been here in the United States since he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think people should be able to run for office if they are not born here in the United States?
Something like mayor, okay, yes. He's an assemblyman right now. Like president, that's a whole different story. But he's been elected as an assemblyman. He's now been elected as a primary candidate for mayor in the Democratic Party. And a lot of people voted for him and didn't vote for others. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough to deport him.
Who would you like to see become the next mayor here in New York City?
I think Cuomo might be the more practical choice, but I do find that Zadami, after listening to other people's comments, I would let him go with it, have a go at it. Can't do any worse, I think. And I think he's a young guy, might have some interesting ideas that the old-timers might just fall into place with old-time views.
Zoran Mamdani, he's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist. Some people are calling him a communist. Do you think communism would work well here inside of the largest city of America?
I don't think communism really even exists. If you look at Russia, China, they're truly not communists. They're just as capitalized and they're controlling and they're not even as squared as what you would expect communism to be by definition. So it doesn't really exist.
And some of his policies are such as government-run grocery stores or a $30 minimum wage, or they're going to freeze the rent. What will happen in New York City if this guy does win?
So going through each of those, so government is in no position to ever dictate these types of things, and every time it does and puts its heavy hand on the economy, it always makes it so much worse. I'm from Moscow originally, I would know. We ran from there once, I'd like to not do it again. But if you create government subsidized stores, you will destroy regular stores while jacking up prices of this stuff anyway. The amount of taxes you're going to have to increase to do this, he's published, his budget is going to triple what it presently is. I believe from something like 20 billion, was it 20 to 60 billion, or 2 billion to 6 billion? I don't remember what it is. It's tripled. So, but then as people start to leave, you're looking at taxing the people that stay even more, because the taxes go up and they have to raise them more and more and more because the budget keeps falling short. As far as real estate, people are going to just stop developing. They're going to start warehousing apartments. At some point, the government is going to be stuck owning some of these tenements, which of course is going to be more tax obligations, and the city is going to become Detroit. We know what happens. Detroit fell apart in a generation. Do we want New York to be another Detroit? What happens if the stock exchange leaves? What happens if all the big law firms leave? Because people will want to leave.
You think New York City will fall if this guy is elected mayor?
Oh, there's no question. It's already barely surviving. In the last 12 years, things have not been going well. All the various state bills, COVID, the city's not the same. Everything's very expensive. It's really only for the very rich and very poor. Young people move here, live like 4 to an apartment, paying their entire salary in rent and groceries. If you continue to move in that direction and take an even sharper leftist turn, plus you start importing various Islamist ideologies, the city simply can't survive. No one wants to stay here, and there's no money to be made anymore.
And one of Mamdani's policies, because he wants to essentially make New York City Trump-proof by raising enough money through other forms to not have to receive federal funding. And one of the ways he wants to do it is by taxing the rich, people that make over $1 million a year, an extra 2%. What will happen to that group of people that are making $1 million? Will they leave New York City, or do you think they're going to stay?
So right now we're talking about the border and building a border wall. The Soviet Union also had a curtain or a wall, except it kept people in. Because the thing about communism is it's so much fun you can't leave. And it only works when people who produce, which is the minority, can't leave. What this little moron does not understand is that this is America. People can just leave New York. He's gambling that they cannot move with their job, or they can't move with their family. He's sorely mistaken. And the other thing he has to remember is that he is the mayor, he's not the governor, meaning that people don't need to leave the state to avoid him. They can just leave the city. And the more he tries to Trump-proof it by charging his people more, the more those people will leave, the more monetary shortages he has, the more he must raise taxes, and the cycle will continue. He's more than welcome to try. We'll see what happens. There is some discussion of whether or not he can be denaturalized, because when you sign to become a citizen, I think there's an oath you take that you're not a member of any terrorist or communist organization. He is arguably members of both. So the question is, would the Trump administration be willing to look at him? Because a part of me, I'm kind of thinking out loud here. I don't know, is Donald Trump, who grew up in the city and who became who he is in this city, really willing to let this city go? It's one thing to let Chicago get worse or LA burn, but it's another thing to let New York become a communist Islamic utopia, which is to say dystopia. I wonder if that's going to happen.
And any last warning you'd give to your fellow New Yorkers about who they should vote for, or who they should consider voting for, or why they could potentially consider not voting for Mamdani?
A pound of prevention is worth a ton of cure. You will not be able to undo what this man does to the city. And I use the word man loosely. You cannot, it's very hard to undo migration. It is very hard to undo entitlements. It is very hard to undo expanded budgets. As you see now with the big beautiful bill, it's very hard to both cut spending and also cut the deficit and also cut taxes. These are one-way roads. So if you elect this savage now, it will not get better. You will not be able to take your city back. And in 4 years, he will make this place toxic and radiated. It will not be livable. So whatever, by hook or by crook, by any means necessary, he cannot and should not become mayor of the city.
And if you enjoyed this video, please consider...
There you go. So what's my take on this? Make sure you guys follow Nick Shirley. 190,000 followers and subscribers. Congrats. But yeah, my take is, yeah, look, there's some interesting points. I think it's a few of the proportions out of blown. But there's some good points being brought up, and it's good to see New Yorkers actually going out there and expressing their views. What do I think? Yeah, look, it's really hard because there's a double-edged sword to me. I do like a lot of the things he says, but also don't like a lot of the things he says, and it's very hard in New York City when you're a social democrat, because you're going to have a lot of people, like you can see, who are not very for that style of government, that socialistic style of government, because New York is the city of the capitalistic world, right? So yeah, it's not going to work. Who you going to tax? You're going to tax all the rich people? They're just going to leave. I mean, I don't know if they'll just leave. They'll sell. I'm sure there'll be some people who just pay it, but it's going to be a very difficult situation. I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments section? Do you think Zoran has a chance of winning a mayor, or do you think it's just more... The thing is, like, he can learn from this experience and try and, you know, he needs to win these people over if he wants to win. So that is an interesting conversation to be had. He needs to be able to win over these people. So, and to do that, he needs to communicate that he's not a communist. that, you know, and then kind of maybe flesh out some of these other ideas and get rid of them because they're a bit extreme. But it's a very confusing situation. Anyways, guys, I want to see what do you guys think in the comment section. Are you going to be voting for Zoran? Are you from New York City? Are you going to vote for him? What are your thoughts? And yeah, thank you.